Okay, hello there guys, welcome back to another LibGDX tutorial about building a game. So in the previous video, what we created was something simple. When we collide with the enemy or a spaceship get hit, the spaceship goes into invincibility mode for about 2 or 3 seconds, something like that, and then the enemy explodes. And just as a bonus, we made sure that when your ship explodes, or dies, I mean get 3 hits, all the enemies get destroyed all together. So as you can see, this is the first explosion, this is the second one, and for the last one they will all explode, as you will see in a second there. And they all exploded, right? Okay, so our spaceship should die in here. Now what we want to do now is well, improve this a little bit. So instead of uh, just let's say showing that we should be able to defend ourselves, right? So our spaceship need to fire some bullets or lasers or something like that. So we are gonna work on that today. Okay, so the way we are gonna do it, well, we will create a sprite for that. So if we go to the core part, let's go to the game itself, and I'm gonna say I will create a shot here. So now a new Java class, I'll call this let me, well, you know what, I am planning to give our spaceship a number of weapons. So now what am I gonna do is create a basic class that all other shots will inherit, and it will allow us to do multiple things later on. For this reason, I'll create a shot class. Okay, and I will hit OK. That's very nice, that's very straightforward. And what do we have here? Well, I'm gonna copy a few things. The first thing I'm gonna do is that I am gonna make it inherits no, not inherit. What was the keyword again in Java? Extends. There you go. It was extends sprite. Okay, so a shot is actually a sprite. Now I just need to fill a few methods and everything will be nice there. So let me go to which one do I want to copy. Let me see. Of course I need to copy the constructor and I'll make the constructor, but let me see. Not state management. Was it spaceship? Oh, yeah. So these two guys, I'm gonna copy them. There you go. And let me go to the shot class. Okay, right now I'm just putting everything normally. I'm not changing anything at all, you know. I'm just copying, and after I finish copying I will start improving things. What is the explosion? Where is the constructor there? Yeah. So where is this part? Yeah, I just want this. Copy. That should be fine. So I need to create the constructor now. So we have public shot. Okay, there you go. So now the first thing I want to do, let's say this dot what was that, what was the number here? Absolute speed. I don't think I created that in the sprite itself, right? So let me go to the sprite class. We have what? Yeah, I didn't create the, or did I create it? Action plan, where's sprite region? There is no sprite region there. Okay, so now I will create a number here. So public texture region, I'm sorry, texture region shot. So we have texture region shot texture equals, right? Oh, I will fill this. I should fill this later on. Yeah, semicolon. So here, what do we have? Let's go here and say shot texture. There you go. So I am filling this one in here. I have a shot now, and since this represent the what do you call it? Since this represent our spaceship shot, so I will have to set its x and y. So the y, or let's say speed y, speed x equals 0, and we don't want the shot to move left or right. We will move this later on. And the speed y, this is the default behavior, and we are going to change that later on, equal, let's say 30. Okay, so we are going to depend on that. Now we don't have invincibility here, so yeah, we just draw the shot itself. So we draw this dot shot texture and next dot shot texture divided by 2, and y dot shot texture divided by 2. Okay, that's fine. As for the update, we will not call the super update here. No, we will just, or you know what, just call the super update. We will change this later on if we need to. Yeah, and one last thing, we should say use angle equals false. There you go. So what that means is that we will not use angles, and that's it. So something that is very straightforward. Now what we need to do is that in the main game loop we create a specific array for our shots that will, will be used for that. So let's go back here. Let's go to the very beginning, and we find a number of lists that we created, right? So we have array list for explosion and array list for surprise. We'll create one for shots. Our shots, okay? So I'm gonna call this shots, okay? Or maybe lasers, whatever you want to call it, right? Anyway, so that's gonna be very straightforward. So here, let me see, where's the game? So here, update the time variables, the stage, timer, blah blah blah. Check if sprite needs to be enabled. Remove enemies who are beyond the display. Remove explosions, objects. And here we will add this, remove shots beyond the display. So I'm gonna copy this because it's almost the same code. Shots. Maybe I should have called it stage shots or whatever. Anyway, so we don't have to check for enabled in there, but anyway. Shots. Now, if a shot is y is greater than virtual game height, right? At that point, we just remove it. Okay. Unlike the enemy sprites, when they go below 0, we remove them. This one is when go after the display, we remove that, right? Now we update the status for the explosions and everything. We just need to do the same thing for the player enemies and this, and now we update things for the shots. Okay, so all we have to do, we do the same thing here. So here we say shots. Oops, shots are always enabled, so we don't have to worry about, yeah. All right, and let's go to rendering. Render the shots. Shots. Okay, so we only need two things now. One is to capture the fire button, and the other one is to perform the firing itself. Okay, so in order to do that, it is a very straightforward process. So let's go to our game input management, right? So we have left mouse, oh sorry, we have move left, move right, so we're gonna add elements in here. I'm very sorry, I have to go and back in a second. I'm very sorry, just a second please. Let me see if I could pause this video. Is there a pause? No? Yeah, sorry about that. Just be back in a second. Okay, so the next thing we want to do here is to add another input, right? So what we want to add is, you know, there is move left, move right, and also we have public boolean fire equals false. And there you go. Now in addition to that, we will add something else, which is public boolean old move left and public boolean old move right and public boolean old fire. Okay, that now what are we gonna do? We are gonna save a copy of the previous state, and the reason for that is if we press fire continuously, we don't want to see bullets being fired like 60 bullets per second if we have 60 frames per second, right? Because this will be insane, and you know, this means you will win the game right away. We want the user to click fire whenever he needs to give him some of a challenge, and we don't want the game to be broken. So when we update this, the first thing we are gonna do, we are gonna say store all the values. Okay, so alt move left equals move left, and alt move right equals move right. There you go. And we have alt fire equals fire. Oh, I wrote it file. Oops, I'm very sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, so let's go and check this one. We just say fire equals gdx.input.is key pressed, and it's going to be input.keys dot space. There you go. So now we can identify the the fire buttons pressed on the keyboard only will work on the display or touch screen later on. But for now we just want to do it simply on keyboard. Okay, so let's go back here. Where is the part where we update the user input? So update user input, we wait a second. Yeah, we have these guys, right? Now all we have to do is to add this. This is gonna be process user input. Okay, so here we'll add something simple. Just say if user input dot fire and not user input alt fire. Okay, which means that the state of the fire command changed from not firing into firing. You just want this to happen once. If you check on fire alone, you will get continuous stream of shots. So what you need to do is the following. I'm going to say shot equals a new s equals a new shot. Now s dot x equals player dot x minus s dot shot texture get region width, right? Oh, I don't have to do anything here. It will correct itself there. So it has the same x, but s dot y equals what? It equals to player dot y plus player dot height. Okay, and finally this is small, sorry. Finally we just say shots dot add s. Okay, and that should be it. So this is the part where we are adding a new shot, and it should work fine. So let's test it, and we will improve things along the way. Okay, so our shot is appearing but it doesn't do anything, and also it's too slow, right? So let us improve things a little bit. So instead of making it appear at this point, use white self. And also, where is the shot here? Where's the update speed? The speed, it's not 30, I'm gonna make it 130. So let's see now. Sorry. Okay, now this looks nice, right? It's better, but it's still slow. So let us improve this, make it 230, something like that. Let's go. Yeah. So this is slow, maybe a little bit faster, make it 500, something like that. Let's see. Okay, this is good. This is better. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do, let me go to this part here and also change the order of rendering so that the shots are rendered before the spaceship itself. Okay, so before we render the player, we will render the shot so that the spaceship will appear above the shot. It will be better. And also, where is the place where we update the input? Yeah, it's here. So I'm just gonna show you how you could create a stream of fire by just, you know, checking one condition. I'll show you now what happens if we don't do that. So let me show you. Okay, as you can see now. Okay, so now these are our shots. Okay, so this is why we need to use we need to use that counter, sorry, that other history flag or alt fire flag, because if we don't do that, what we will end up with is you know, we will end up with so many shots that we can't do anything. You know, it will just break the game, if that makes sense to you guys. Anyway, so now this one is way much better. Now that said, we need to move to the next thing, which is verifying when an enemy got hit by a shot. So one thing before I start with that, let me just change the color of our shots. So I will just say sprite badge.set color is gonna red 0.5f, a green 0.5f, and the blue 1.0f, and alpha 1. Yeah, and then I will return the color to its original form, which would be 1 1 1 and 1. Okay, so that everything goes back to normal. So let's run this and see if the shot is now bluish. Yeah, now our shot is blue. I'm wondering if I should change this to a bigger sprite. So the Y is gonna be I'll make Y 16, so that I will take the largest one from the texture. If you remember, in the texture we created 3 stars. Yeah, I created 3 stars, so I'm using this one. It's kind of lazy, but I suppose I need to create a different sprite for this. This is just a test because we are gonna inherit things from it. This is why I am using you know, this one. Okay, that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so later on I will change it to something that is a little bit different for each weapon type. Okay, so what we need to do now is verify if an enemy got hit by one of your shots, and in order to do that, for each shot need to be verified against all the available enemies. So now in this one here, what we need to do, let me see, where's the part where I'm verifying collision? Remove shot beyond display. Now where is that? Check if sprite, remove enemies that are now. Where's the one where we're checking collision? Update input, process the input, check the collision. Okay, we have this one. Check the collision between the player and the enemy, right? And now check the collision between the player's shots and the enemy. Okay, sorry. So now we need to loop on every available shot. So for int I equals 0, and I is smaller than sorry, shots dot size, and yeah, actually make it the other way around, or you know what, just make this start the front. Yeah, sorry. Okay, and now I is greater than equal to 0. This needs to be -1. Okay, and I minus. Okay, and next we will check that shot against all available enemies, right? So for int j equals 0 and j is smaller than stage enemies, okay, dot size and j plus. Okay, so what we need to do is the following: if stage enemies dot get element j, right? Now dot enabled. So if the enemy is being enabled, now we will check if it is colliding with the shot. So we will say if, oh sorry, that's this one, yeah, don't need that, sprite dot r, sprites colliding. And now what we need to do is something simple. We need to identify the shots dot get element I, and we pass also stage enemies get element j. Okay, so if these two guys are colliding with each other, so let's assume that the spaceship of the enemy is now being destroyed. Okay, so we will create a new explosion object. So explosion exp equals new explosion, and I will pass stage enemies dot get element j dot x, followed by stage enemies dot get element j dot y, right? So we create this one, and then stage explosions dot add exp Now this is the first thing, and the next is to remove this one. So stage enemies dot remove element. Now the element being removed is what is location J, because we hit that, so no problem. And next what we need to do is to exit this loop. So we will say break, but also we need to indicate something to the outer loop, the I loop, that the shot should be removed. So we will create a boolean variable here, remove shot, remove shot equals false, semicolon. So I will say remove shot equals true. So if I go to the outer one, so now if remove shot, then or I would say shots dot remove at location I, and that should be it. So the logic here is very simple. We are looping on all the shots in reverse order. We are creating a simple flag here set to false, and we are looping on all the enemies and checking. So what's that? Yeah, so if there is a collision between the shot and the enemy, then put an explosion at the place of the enemy and remove him, and indicate that you want to remove this shot because it has been used, okay, and so on. Very straightforward. So now let's check this and see if we can destroy some alien enemies or alien spaceships. Okay. Okay, we are killing enemies now, as you can see. Okay, killing these. Okay, I killed them all. And now, isn't this nice? So now we are having our spaceship shooting shots and killing the enemies. That will be, I suppose, enough for today, and hopefully in the next video we will start working on the titles and a few things, so that or you know what, yeah, the rest of the touch screen we will finish that tomorrow hopefully, and we will smooth things up later on. So I suppose, yeah, that will be all for today, because I have to go to sleep because I have some work tomorrow. Yeah, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye bye.